Peace. All right, let's take a quick look at Jasmy versus Tether. We're looking at a daily chart, which means every candlestick that you see here represents 24 hours of trading data. Okay, so right now at our first glance, the range is going from October 2021 to today's current date of December 25th, 2021. We see that price rallied up, it peaked, and then it reversed. Now, if you caught the first half of this moving up, you would have sworn that price would have continued to go up, right? Nonetheless, we see some things here, and I'm going to try to briefly explain as to what took place and where price is going, possibly going, should we say. Okay, so get those crosshairs on the screen. What did we see here in early October? Price broke out of that small trading range that it was in, created a higher high, pulled back, higher low. Then it created another higher high, pulled back, higher low. And then that continued up until price peaked at about 33 cents in early November. Now that's the highest high we see that it's going to make looking at this range, right? We see that it had a great pullback, right? That pullback landed at somewhere along that 72 day moving average. It went up, came back to this little area of this little buy zone, and people bought. Now, it did not test the new high, the most recent high. It actually tested that area, which one can say is a supply area or a sell area, and almost instantaneously just was rejected, right? At least according to these daily candles. Tested it that one day and turned right back around. Now, in order to stay bullish on this, what I would have needed to see at that point in time, it would have come back down here in this area and then would have retraced down, should I say, to this area. And then the buyers would have stepped in and brought it right back up, surpassing the previous high and the high prior to that, creating new highs. That didn't happen. Instead, the buyers were actually pretty weak when it came to this area here. And the sellers actually were able to drive it past through this area of support and even down all the way to where price is currently trading now. And if we look to our left, which is something I like to do, because even though the past doesn't necessarily indicate where price may travel to in the future, it can definitely be helped. Okay. So one thing I noticed now is that price is back to trading in that little range that it was trading in before that nice little rally it had before November or leading into November, right? So let's take another look. Normally we work from the top down. This time we're working from the bottom up. Let's look at a weekly candle. Okay, so each candle that we see here is going to represent a week's worth of trading data. The first thing that we see is that our current week is actually trading green, which shows us, all right, it's bullish compared to where price opened at for the week. Okay, so price opened up and it's been green ever since, or for the most part, for most of that trading range or trading term for this current week. But if we look at the 3 weeks prior to that, now let me pull out the crosshairs. This is our current week. The 3 weeks prior to our current week were all bearish. Then we had this week here, which we would say, oh, okay, that was a bullish week. It was throughout most of its trading. But then when it closed, it did not close higher than the open or even higher or higher than the high of the previous week, which was a bearish week. It still closed lower than that. Okay, so. And that's that price, that's that week in which it came close to testing the high or entered that supply area, but did not break that high. So that means the sellers definitely stepped in and continued to push price down on Jasmy once again, starting this week. So we had the high, the sellers stepped in, pushed price down. Buyers tried to push it back up, but the sellers were strong enough to push it right back down again and continue to push it down for the next 3 weeks following that. And then we're in our current week now, to where buyers have tried to push it up because once again, price has broken the previous high of the previous candle, right? is broken the previous open of the previous candle. Now, the only thing is that price has not been able to hold above it. So at this point in time, realistically, what would I be looking at? Well, we have more than 24 hours still remaining to the trading week for this current candle. So much can happen in the next 24 hours. This can go from a green to a red candle, which means price starts trading below the open of that week, and then the bearish action continues. Another possible outcome, this week's candle could close as a doji or a spinning top, possibly, right? Which may indicate a reversal. And that means that next week's candle would either have to also indicate some sort of indirection, or it would actually rally and close above this current week's high, which definitely would be very bullish. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if that's going to happen yet. Now, the other case scenario, as far as the weekly chart, price has not tested our area of demand in terms of weekly demand yet, which says to me that, hey, guess what? Price could actually travel lower if the sellers push it down far enough for the buyers to step back in and say, hey, we got a good price entry point here. So actually, let's actually scale it up another notch to the monthly. Now, this is what we see when we look at the monthly, right? Look at that current candle. Our current monthly candle is very bearish. Look how red that is, and look how long it's been red. Now, this current candle has already closed below the previous month's open and the previous month's low. Now, we have about a week left to the month, a week left to the year. So, this is another thing I'm looking at. The price has already broken the low of the previous month. If this candlestick closes below, then the price on Jasmy can do one of two things. For those past 3 months where Jasmy was trading in this very small, tight range here of July, August, and September, the price could come down here, test it, hold it, and then we can find a nice point to rally off from there to higher prices. Or it can actually break that support area, and then we can see some lower prices on Jasmy compared to what we've seen before. Now, I know that some people that I've spoken with are very bullish on Jasmy and they're in it for the long run. That means if price continues to travel any lower, you're going to be taking some heat on those entries that you've already had. And some heat means you're going to be in the negative. And we can't say how long you're going to be on the negative, because once again, even when it comes to comparing our current prices on the possibility of future prices to the past data, we don't have that much data on Jasmy, right? It's still pretty new. Nonetheless, we don't know where the buyers are really going to step in and really start pushing Jasmy all the way up. This project is still waiting to be adapted by many more users. Excuse me on that part of my voice on this video. I apologize for that. Hopefully my words still have clarity to it. Nonetheless, moving forward. Once again, I'm not your financial advisor. I advise you to do your own research just for educational purposes only. Do not invest any money in any financial instrument, including crypto, forex, stocks, or anything else without full understanding or doing your own due diligence or speaking with a professional with your best interest in mind, should I say. Okay? I wish you the best of profits and enjoy the new year ahead. Peace.